Okay, it's recording. Hi guys, this is Sarah Elena. Welcome to the channel. The other day I posted a video about, something that's really big that's happening here in Costa Rica. There's protesting going on over it. So I wanted to bring in a special guest to explain this better because, well, I'm kind of in my own terms trying to explain things to you. But this is something that's been happening all over the world, and we don't want this happening to Costa Rica. So I have Alex Zuniga here, and we're going to be talking about, well, the regulatory plan of development of Perez Zeledon, also known as San Isidro de General, where in my understanding, they're taking land, from the farmers, as I stated in my last video. But Alex is going to give us, his background information on this, as he does have a lot more knowledge than I do on the topic. He's going to give us his opinions on it, and he's also, we're going to have links and things that you guys can go to read up more about the topic and understand, why this is important and why Costa Rica really needs, everyone's support. If you love Costa Rica, if you visit Costa Rica, if you've moved or think about moving to Costa Rica, this is a time where you can give, to the country that you know and love your support. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you can support and what's really going on. So thank you, Alex, for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I hope this can be helpful. So if you'd like to, I guess, give us some background about yourself, and we can just dig right into the topic.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really nice to have a space like this to kind of give details and some information. And well, I have followed closely all the process. And I think I have some pieces of information that will be very useful. And well, about my background, I'm a teacher, and of course, I'm a Tico, and I have lived all my life here, and I love my culture and my country. And when I realized about this, I decided to take action because after analyzing and taking the time to see what's really coming, it's urgent that we do something about it. So I hope that with some of the information we are going to share today, most of the interesting and most urgent points will be explained.
Perfect. So can you, I guess, if this is someone's first video, if they're just learning about this topic, can you explain a little bit about, what is this regulatory plan, the Plan Regulador de Ordenamiento Territorial de Perez Zeledon?
Yeah, that plan is described. Usually, if you see POT, then you will know what they're talking about. Well, it's now something that it's necessary to say is that we need a plan like that. Perez Zeledon needs a plan because some of the areas, let's say up in the hills, they produce some different agriculture than the ones down by the beach, and they have different issues like even like different kind of soil, different types of roads, different culture. Like there's so many things that are different. So one thing that I have to say is that we need a plan like this because the main intention is to develop each area accordingly to provide to the people the best way to have their businesses, to protect the water. That's really important. We need to protect the water and to live accordingly to their possibilities, but to develop different activities. So that's what a plan should be in reality. So what we found here is more than anything else is the trap disguised as a beautiful plan, an incredible story that sounds more like fantasy than anything else. So the first failure that we found in there is that it tries to apply the same regulations to the whole area, which is really big. And we're talking about 150,000 people from different towns with different conditions, different roads, different products, different activities. So they're trying to apply the whole plan. So that's incorrect. That cannot be possible because, again, all of the conditions are different. So uh, I found all of this through asking to the people what their main concerns are. And if you want to know, I was there at the places, the hearings, the march, demonstrations, all of that. Yes, I was there. I was present. I talked to the people. I asked them. I asked the attorneys, the topographers, the professionals in different areas because I wanted to know the real information. So, um, first thing that was kind of curious was the workshops that the municipality offered. So, something like this. We we need to know that Perez Zeledon is mostly farmers. Nope. Most areas are just farms, small farms, big farms, rural tourism. So the municipality offers workshops like a Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning. Like who's going to show up? It's obvious. It's farmers. It's so um, it you find manipulation in there because if you know that they work in the country, if you know that they are less and less popular, talking about the people at the municipality, you won't go. I mean, come on, you won't want to see them on Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning when you have to, do your things at the farm and take care of your um, products and do stuff. So it's kind of on purpose.
But sorry,
And then,
I have a question. Sorry, what the workshops? What are these workshops that they're offering?
yeah, good question. Well, the workshops are one of the regulations they have to accomplish in order to keep on going with the process. So, what do you do? That's actually a great question. So, what do? You reach that goal in your own terms. You see how manipulative that is? And then you can say, yeah, well, we offered workshops. Sure, but what time and where? And they're not gonna participate. Like farmers are not gonna participate because they don't like you. Basically, they don't like you, so they won't like to see your faces in there. So it's kind of planned that way. So with that one, with the workshops, they had one like checked. That's it, legally checked. But you know, if you dig a little bit, then you'll see some pictures of the workshops. It's like 9 people in one, eight in one, like five in another one, and we're talking again about a population of 150,000 people. That there's not a correct representation of the amount of people that should have been there. Now that talking about the information, I want to mention this later on, but I'm going to do it now. Information was not available for indigenous communities in their language. For example, yesterday I was talking to some friends, and that we just heard indigenous people passing by and speaking in their language better than Spanish. So they are also own land, and especially them should know actually first, if you will, because they're original to these lands, and so information was not available in indigenous languages. I could count at least three. Was not available in English because a lot of the people from different countries own land here and they're citizens. Like they are citizens. They Many of them are able to vote, and the information was not available in English, in French, German, at least among other languages. So that's a clear violation of the right to be informed. And so another thing that I found was that, and this is something not difficult to understand. This is something very basic, and is that for many leaders and many farmers, it was not so much about the document, but it was about trust, and it didn't really matter. They have lost their trust in the authorities in the municipality. So just about 100% you would ask them, and they don't trust them. So no matter what the document said, it was not going to be trusted. And that's really important because it's a culture, they have been in power for over 8 years, 10 years, something like that. And it gets to a point where no matter what they say, no matter what they do, people just don't trust them. And that's pretty obvious. They would do stuff like, right by the end of the period of their government, they would improve the roads, so that people will be like happy. Wow, these people are great. We're gonna vote for them again. And there's you can also see another manipulation, and that was common. A lot of people were also disappointed, and they would not go to vote, and that's something that I regret. I went to vote, but I regret not spreading enough information and not encouraging people to go and vote for different politicians, if you will, or different leaders. And now we're suffering the consequences. So now the the thing here that I found is most likely that information was not available for farmers. Like, for example, my mom, she is 67 years old. My dad is 83. Can you imagine trying to like starting a computer? For them, it's just a whole world. And so that's another check that they had, was that, yeah, information was available. The plan was available. Where? Oh, in our website. Yeah, I mean, come on, Perez Zeledon, it's like, I don't know, 75% farmers, country people. I live in a farm. Um, so that's like part of the trap. They they are okay with the legal regulation that the information is available, but obviously most people don't know how to get it. And there are at least 5 to 6 documents that I'm going to send you, so that the documents and the PDFs and the extracts and analysis are available. So the main one was 94 pages online. Can you imagine a farmer here in the area trying to read? I mean, it's obvious. If you connect the dots, then you see the big picture. And that's probably why you won't, in that document, even if you read it, it's like marvelous and it's great and it sounds great, but it doesn't mean that it is true. That's one thing. If you want to be kind of, I'm going to use the word naive, to read and believe, then it's really up to you. I mean, okay. But then also there's the annexes. Annexes, well, the added pages that were in a different link. So if you read only that, then you see, wow, no, these people are lying. These people who are protesting, it's all lies. They don't understand. I read it, I went through it, and I got some texts in English. And again, that's fine. If you want to express your opinion, I mean, as long as you do it respectfully, I can also respect it. But I got some texts in English saying, well, what happens is that you don't understand politics, and you don't understand laws in your own country, and some kind of speech like that. Well, I was an interpreter at the courthouse for 4 years, and I used to go to trials, and I used to go to hearings, and I saw attorney after attorney, and I translated legal documents, and all kinds of situations like that. I'm not an attorney, but I think I know how the system could be used to manipulate people and set traps. So if you read that 94-page document, it's a wonderful plan, but do not expect to find exactly there. Okay, here's the trap. Um, it's, for example, when I talk about this, like manipulation, um, I usually give this example. When somebody's gonna rob your house, they first come to your house as a friend, and then they will make a list of the weak points, like oh, broken window, a weak door, the kind of whatever. They make a list in their minds, and then they set the trap. So they don't tell you, well, tomorrow night I'm gonna rob your house. They pretend to be your friends because in that document it's kind of the same because they won't tell you, oh, here's how we're gonna take your land. Oh, and this is the process that we're going to follow to take your land and your house and your future, and this is how we're gonna steal everything and sell it to whoever. Of course, you're not gonna find it. Um, so I understand that. I understand that many people left their houses looking for paradise down here, and again, it's not easy to accept that there are evil people here in the government, that they're corrupt, and they want to take the land that maybe you sold everything you had in the States or Europe, and then you came down here and you bought your land and you want to live a free and honest life, which is perfect. But then it's difficult to understand that this is true, that somebody really wants to take my land. So this is my dream. So your mind is not gonna accept it right away. So I can understand that too. So I don't know if you have any question regarding that.
No, not as of now. No, I think you're explaining everything really well. Thank you.
Okay. So another thing that I could notice was that the people in the municipality never wanted to debate. Never. Like this serious investigation started this January when they presented the plan to attorneys and topographers because they had to do it by law. So I bet I cannot avoid just picturing that these guys thinking, oh, I hope they don't understand. I hope they don't realize what's going on, like crossing their fingers or stuff. So guess what? Um, these people are so smart, and they immediately starting asking questions like, wait a minute, what did you say here? Like, what's going on? Now, like, we're talking about topographers. They know the area by square meter. They know the numbers. They know the population. They know the culture. They talk to the people every day. And that's their job. So they didn't pass that one. Sorry. And then they started asking questions. They would go to the municipality, and people would always avoid clear answers. So, in response, politicians would say, "Oh no, you are lying. You're like this is what you're saying is not true." But then, okay, how is it that it's not true? And then we'll get to the green areas and to the not building churches and all that. And how is it that it's it's not true? Why don't we have a debate, like an open, televised, with social media, whatever you want, debate? And it was always like, no, no, you're lying. And that's it. And I don't have the time. So, I mean, come on. It started to become more and more obvious that there was something in there that they couldn't hide anymore. Now, I'll give you an example. We're planning a meeting in a community called Tinamaste, where a lot of English speakers live. And then we invited one of the main people in favor of this plan because he speaks English, and he's able to understand with no problem. He's able to explain with no problem. And so we invited him, and we asked him to give his argument, and then the leaders will give their argument. And he said, "Oh, no, 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 I'm busy." And this just happened yesterday. So, anyways, another thing that it's quite interesting is that most people of the municipality are saying the leaders of this movement are lying to you. They're giving you the wrong information. Well, in this country, if you lie, you could go to jail or you could be punished somehow. Why is it that they have not sued anybody? Like, if that's a lie, well, Josue Siciliano, who is a topographer, uh, Jose Calderon, who is an attorney, and Rocio Calderon, his sister, and Luis Roman and other leaders, they openly talk about this. They openly talk about their mistakes. And they have been recorded and they are on YouTube openly saying the problems are this and that and that and that and that. And there are no legal issues or legal, no legal complaints or filed. No, nobody has filed any case against them. Why? I mean, um, so it starts to add up little by little, and you can pretty much tell that there's something hidden in there. Now, mm, another thing is that the president of the people in the municipality, the people you can, I guess you can call it the council or the main committee. Um, there's a president and there's 8 other people. So he is under investigation and he was suspended in the beginning of this year, I believe, for allegedly corruption acts. And so I thought, well, is this true? Really? Like, so I started investigating and I found news, national news saying that it is true, local news saying that it is true, and I even found the file from the courthouse where he was linked, and that's also available. So you go like, hmm, okay, um, and none of the leaders have this kind of controversy against them. Uh, well, that's kind of what I found because there's more, but then that would make it probably make it like too long. There's more information, more interesting information, but that's like the main points of what why people are arguing against this project. Like there's, I think there's plenty there to think and analyze. So now the famous green areas and the how they relate to the cities. Like I think in English, please correct me if I'm wrong. They call them intelligent cities or 15-minute cities because this is not a model that was invented here. It was brought from some other governments, I guess.
Yeah, I think I've heard of those. I think those are the right terms for it. But I guess if anyone else knows the better term, you can find that or you can put it in the comments below.
Yes, thank you. So in the annexes, you will find what is a yes and what's a no according to the color. The colors are in the maps, right? So this is really important. So the the green areas that they call it biodiversity, which is a very elegant and fancy name. It's not a technical name. It's just name that they wrote there. Um, uh, it basically says in the areas in green, if you have 5 hectares of land, which is a lot of land, then you can add like split it. If you can't split it, then you can't sell it. And right on the side of it, there's the coverage from the 5 hectares in the green areas. You can only use 5%. I think it's 5 or 4. I'm hoping it's 5, but let's say it's 5% of what they call coverage. That means you can only use 5% of those 5 hectares, and they have to be in a certain position, and you cannot develop your project, and like there's all kinds of restrictions. Um, so now here comes something really tricky. Some people are saying, "Oh, the government is going to take the farmers' land," and well, it's not like that. Because if we try to do it, can you imagine? Can you even like picture trucks and the government officials of the government just putting like packing people in there? No, obviously it's not like that. Um, it's about discouraging the owners of the land because they have so many restrictions that they are not um, capable of using them, like no animals anymore, no crops, no constructions. If one of their kids gets married, they can like split a hectare and give them that hectare so they can live peacefully, like we always do. We're a peaceful culture. So it's about discouraging, and then that's what you can see in those papers if you are able to read between the lines. Then from there you can start thinking, and it's okay. It's not that that's what's going to happen, but it could happen. So I want to use the word could. So imagine um, you cannot use your own land, and then you say, well, I guess I'm going to have to sell it because I have no money to eat. But because the land is not to be used as it is, then the price would go down. So low prices. So, well, that's really ironic. If you see in green at the most beautiful areas of Perez Zeledon with the best views and the best waters, so you put the prices down, and then other companies, like international companies, are able to buy those lands. Now you start connecting the dots. Well, very simple. It happens that in the green areas, you are not allowed to build a church or place of cult. No, like no, it doesn't have to be religious, like any spiritual place for prayer or no, nothing like that. You're not allowed to build it. Or schools or little stores. But then you can build a casino. Oh wow, really? So I mean, it's so clear. It's so clear that if you don't like, this is the best I can explain it. If you don't see it, there's nothing else I could do. Uh, you're probably in denial. So yeah, well, first by restricting the land, farmers will have to sell it, and it's the most beautiful lands in the area. Then you can build casinos, and there's a like the words are there. There's a casino, and there a nightclub, like it's written there, casino, nightclub, and there's another place where where they sell alcohol. I just forgot the name. Um, but can you imagine what's that going to be like? Now, it's just an open space for drugs and prostitution and all kinds of stuff like that in the most beautiful areas of my country. And then now here's the thing: if the farmers sell the land, then they have cities marked in sometimes in the map you might see them in the red or purple, some kind of color like that. Then they have enough money to buy a small portion of land there and have a small apartment and maybe live some more years. And that's it. So what this is how you connect it all and put it all together. Now there are other restrictions regarding the activities like tourism. They're in blue, and there's the brown areas, the mixture, and all of that. The best person to explain it would be Josue, and there are explanations in YouTube. There are like conferences that I'll be happy to share, of course. And again, I'm going to insist on that. You need to really read between the lines and identify the trap. Because if you trust that, then well, there's nothing else I can say. Like I'm not even trying to convince. I'm just trying to show some of the ideas and the opinions of the people and the results of investigations and the documents and the extracts of the documents and the YouTube videos. And if you don't get it, then that's it. Then I want to talk a little bit about last Thursday. Last Thursday was the final hearing uh, in stage 4 to approve the plan, and stage 4 is the final stage. Hmm. So they were, when I say they, it's the municipality. They were telling people, well, please bring your suggestions and we will include your suggestions in the final document. Well, different institutions and organizations have been offering suggestions since last year, and they never include those suggestions in the documents. They just say, oh, we will. Then they have another version where they correct like a paragraph or a comma or whatever. Say, oh, it's there. Archaeological sites are not included. The change of the culture is not included. So it's so big that we're talking about changing the culture of the whole area by removing slowly. It won't happen tomorrow. It won't happen in a year. That's too obvious. We're talking 5, 10 years, maybe more. Removing the farmers and bringing down casinos. So it's a destruction of the culture. Total, like archaeological sites are not included, and we have many archaeological sites in private farms that are kept in there untouched. Some of them are still untouched, and well, can you imagine the destruction of our background? And also, they I and this is I want to clarify that this is my personal opinion. I believe that these projects will only come to remove our identity. And the way I see it is that Perez Zeledon has always been a place where we fight for our rights. So they tried to implement that in one of the biggest areas of the country with more people so they can implement it in other also cantones, the political division. So they were probably thinking, okay, if we got Perez Zeledon, then we got the rest of the country. Because a lot of it has to do with, again, our background. We are fighters. We came, crossing the Cerro de la Muerte, and we fought against like, snakes and jaguars and all that diseases, bare feet, and against the cold and against all of the possible obstacles that we faced. So we have that heritage of being strong. And now, again, this is my personal opinion. If somebody would hire me to make a plan like this is almost exactly the way I would do it. Go for the strong first, and with those strategies, the thing is that from my point of view, it was very well planned, but it was poorly executed because the people who were executing were not too smart. Those are the locals. Because if I read it, the plan comes from somewhere else, even like outside Costa Rica. I don't know. I don't know where. I'm not interested. But you can pretty much tell that it's sometimes you will see a copy paste from other texts if you know what I'm talking about. And then again, I don't care. I care for now about my area. Um, but these people here, the locals in the government, they don't have the brains to plan something like this, and I think they messed it up real, real bad. They messed it up, and right now people hate him. Not that I'm happy about it. People hate him in social media. They're just being bullied. Again, not that I'm happy about it, but they reach for it. Also, I mean, it was so obvious. If you're elected to work for the people, then you're an employee. And they never got that. They're nothing but an employee. You should be happy that you are in that position. Um, so that's mostly it about the facts that I collected. I do want to highlight again that you need to know about the Costa Rican culture and our background, and you need to know about manipulation more than you know about laws and more than you know about political terms. So if you're going in that direction, you're not going to find the answer. You could go in that direction, that's fine. I'm just telling you, uh, you have to stop. I mean, we all have to stop being naive. Have you really seen a politician? Because I was there last Thursday. Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Um, I was there last Thursday, and it was incredible the things that people were telling to these politicians. They were talking about their mothers and they were and other stuff, other stuff. Like, are you really capable of dealing with all that, facing all that, just because you want other people to be in a good position, just because you want other people, the farmers and the rest of us, to be well, to progress, to do something good for us, and you're a politician and you're telling me that? Oh, come on. That's just not acceptable. I mean, nobody who's got good intentions, who is honest, will deal with all that if there's not like a string attached there. It's just another thing that I was there and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he was my, at some point he was my friend, because some of them were, I met them. It's a small town. Uh, so it's just not easy for me to believe that somebody will deal with all kinds of insults just because they love everybody. No, it's just not. I don't believe it. And now that's again, that's my personal opinion. And one last thing that I would also like to mention is that uh, there is a cultural barrier and language barrier. And I know it has been difficult for the English speakers mainly to understand what's going on. Because even if you understand the language, you also have to understand the culture. And also you have to understand about manipulation. So those are three steps that you have to go through to really understand what's going on. So I don't blame anybody, like not even haters. Uh, we've had some haters in our social media, English speakers, and that's fine. I mean, I would just ask if you want to express your opinion, do it respectfully. Like you don't have to hate me. I'm trying to save your land. You see, that's not good. I'm trying to do something good for you, and I lost a few jobs, and I don't have that much money, and my sources are limited, and I'm trying to save your land. So at least do it respectfully, and we would all appreciate that. And well, there's a lot more information, but uh, I guess this is what I had planned for today. I don't know if you have any other question.
No, this was a lot of information. I appreciate all of it. I think what I'd like to do is also have another, like a decent summary in the description of the video below. So for maybe the maps that you referenced, we talked about, any documents we'll have in the description below for people to look at. And then I had a description in my last video about some of the implications. I want to, after our call, I would like to send it to you just to make sure all that is still correct, so that people can just kind of look at that summary as well. And I guess the last thing to note will be, how can people help? Because people might be watching this from afar, and we want to know how do we support you guys. And for me, I took a big interest in this too, because number one, I love Costa Rica, but also number two, I used to live out there in that area. I spent time in Tinamastes, Platinillo, outside of Perez. I don't know if you know where Socorro is, near San Rafael de. I mean, I was way out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I love that area. And what you're saying about the culture out there, such a unique, beautiful culture in that part of Costa Rica. And I think because it doesn't have the casinos, it's just wholesome. The people out there are wholesome. And it's honestly some of the best people I've met in this whole country are from out there. So, just so I can also second my opinion a little bit on what I've seen with the culture when living out there. Some of the most incredible, incredible people out there. So we want to know how we can support. How can we support?
I will give you my Telegram contact so you can add it in the description, and then we'll go from there. We can spread the word. We even have people here going out to the streets with flyers, telling them. So the best thing to do right now is to understand first, understand what's going on and what's going to happen, so I can help with that. Then spread the word in social media, because this plan is going for other areas, like I mentioned. So we need a lot of support, peaceful support, peaceful. This is really important, because we need to start thinking and acting based on reason, not based on hate. No, no. And then if somebody does not accept what we have to say, that's fine. But we can share flyers. We can share the message in social media. We can make videos. We can, like, even at some point, I could um, have another video call to give more information, because right now we're in the stage where we're waiting about what happened last Thursday. That was what I was going to mention, like, real quick. That was illegal because it was a public hearing and there was no people. So that's one thing that made it irregular. And the other one was that they did not present the topic. That was one of the main things that had to be done. The municipality had to present the topic, and they didn't do it because there were no people, obviously. So we're waiting on the result of that. That's totally illegal. They're still pretending. They're telling people, no, everything's fine. It's going to be approved, and no problem. But it is illegal for those two main reasons. Apart from that, they had no secretary, and many of them couldn't even, like, enter the building, and like, there's no way that could be legal. And then what we're waiting for the result on that, the legal result on that, and then what's possibly going to happen is that we'll have to start from scratch with a new plan that really helps people. And then, so that's good. That's good. It's important that people know that. So yes, we need a lot of support to spread the word.
Okay, then I think what I'm going to have below in this video for people, I will make something that would have a thing that they could copy and paste, and maybe with a photo. Maybe you and I can collaborate on this right after today, of like a photo and some text that people could copy and paste into social media and share around, like something. But I'd want to see what you would. Maybe you already have something that's really effective. Documents that you want to send me, I'll have those all into a folder for people to review. You know, the references that you noted during this call. And is there any kind of page or place where people can stay up to date on any other kind of in-person efforts or demonstrations, or is that still best via Telegram?
Well, I think it would be best to have like a Telegram contact because for tomorrow there's another demonstration. But uh, I think, and this is again just a personal opinion. I think some people might try to make us look bad by sending violent protesters. So I would suggest to stay in contact with the main source, which in this case for English speakers would be me and the other guys, not only me. There's five of them, really nice people. So I would say with us, and then start from there. Yes, and then we'll let you know what's going to happen and what's real and what it could be suspicious. Because we're in that kind of stage right now where you have to be careful.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming on and explaining all this. And, you know, I got even the last video that I did on this, a lot of people showed their support. So I hope that this will continue. And, you know, if there's anything that I can do to continue to help, you know, let me know. I'll keep me updated on this and see how we can. Hopefully Costa Rica won't end up like
Yes,
the rest
well,
of the
we
world.
can. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can stay in touch, and if there's something else, I will let you know for sure. Thank you, really. Thank you for this time that you're taking.
Thank you.